Twins drop back-to-back versus the Tigers. Charlie Morton ices the lineup. Two-hitter for the Twins. Final score 7-rip. Full deep dive coming up next. Minnesota Twins postcast.
This is the Twins postcast. Your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's going on? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins postcast right here. Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Got my main man, Sweet Lou Hennessy. Give him a follow on X at Sweet Lou MN. Plus all the work he's doing up over at Zone Coverage MN. Lou, I was thinking tonight, it was only 2 years ago. You could even say, actually, for this exercise last year as well. At this time last year, Target Field, they were, the attendance wise anyways, the fan base was thriving. Okay. Fast forward to now, the product they're putting on display, given everything that happened after the deadline, plus the ownership news that we'll talk about, 5-0 in the first inning tonight, nothing to cheer for. All hope is lost. My point is, my question, I got to imagine this has got to be one of the worst seasons for attendance numbers that the Twins have seen in a while. Is it not?
Yeah, I want to say up until this point, they're already down something like 8%, 8 to 10%, and that was before the big sell-off. So we'll see what's in store for August and September here. I was at the game last night, and I think the announced attendance was 24,000, which is respectable. There's certainly not 24,000 people in the seats, but it was a lot more than I was expecting, honestly, for their kind of first game after going out of town there. But yeah, it's going to be something to track for sure.
7-0 was your final tonight. 56-65 now on the year. Lots to get into. Biggest turning point. Which guy's stock is pointed up right now in our Game 3 preview with Zebby Matthews on the mound as well. But first, quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Game Time. Game Time, download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Let's just jump into the game first and foremost. Then I want to ask you about the ownership news in segment 2. Let's just kick things off, though, with the biggest turning point tonight.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So like I said, Lou, this thing got out of hand quick. 5-rip in the first after a Twins error, by the way, to start the game. So biggest turning point, when was it and why?
I mean, it has to be the 5 spot right at the beginning of the game, unfortunately. A 5 spot in any inning feels like a complete backbreaker for this team, and it has for the entire season. It's just so hard for them to attack, one, let alone multiple runs in an inning. So that felt like the biggest turning point, especially just after, the news of the week and just kind of the vibes of the ballpark. It seemed like they needed a good start if they were going to get anything. I was at the game last night, and they actually put up a pretty respectable effort against Tarek Skubal, who's probably going to be the 2-time Cy Young Award winner at the end of this season. But today was pretty much the exact opposite of that, unfortunately.
Nerdy stat of the day. You got any crazy stat? Fun analytic, Twins related tonight?
Yeah, so this one comes from our friend Aaron Gleeman of The Athletic. So the Milwaukee Brewers won their 13th consecutive game today. It was a very thrilling game. They were down 6-0, 8-0 early, and they came back and won for their 13th consecutive win. The Brewers and the Twins are the only two teams with a 13-game winning streak this year. Outside of those streaks, the Brewers are 66-44. The Twins are 44-66. So it's really just the tale of two cities here in the Midwest with Minneapolis and with Milwaukee, unfortunately.
Very interesting. Plenty more deep dive. Your favorite trade deadline prospect acquisition. That's all coming up, though, right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel is giving you a chance at a huge return, $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. Why I love FanDuel when you get the hunch in the middle of the game. You go check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets and get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Getting some MLB future action if you dare. Tigers right now, minus 1,200 to win the AL Central. It's all sitting up over at FanDuel.com. Again, check it all out over at FanDuel.com. $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sportsbook partner of the MLB. What do you think? Minus 1,200. You want a little? What do you think? You want to lay a little? Lay a little skin on that. Minus 1,200. Not great value for the Tigers there.
You know what? I need some walking around money, so let me see what I can fish together here.
Let's get into what we'll be talking about with the Twins.
This is what you'll be talking about.
So I guess what we'll be talking about is, the ownership pulling the rug out from the fans' feet, choosing to keep the team after, felt like months of giving everybody the impression they were finally on the way out. Talking about the Pohlads, obviously. What's your take on all this, Lou? You and I haven't touched base in a couple days. How ugly, how messy has this whole thing gotten? And where do the Twins and the fans land, I guess, once all the dust is settled?
Boy, that's going to be something to watch for sure. There's a lot of disappointment going around, at least Twins Twitter. It seems like the online waves here. A lot of people very disappointed and very fed up with the ownership of this team and kind of a lack of investment, especially in recent years after such a miracle run in 2023, where vibes were at an all-time high. To not invest in them after that feels criminal, unfortunately, for us Twins fans. And there's a lot of people that are frustrated by that, especially a 10-month, I want to say, search for a new ownership group that proved to be unfruitful. Unfortunately, it felt like we were so close to having Justin Ishbia, who's known for, investing heavily on the on-field or on-court product of sports teams that he owns, that it would have been a lot of fun. And it felt like we were right there. And then they pulled the rug out from under us and we went back into the search for a new ownership group. And here we are again, just like back at square one, it feels like. And the only thing that's changed is that the Pohlad family found somebody to pay down this debt that has been just, dragging them down like an anchor. But if that,
how do you get that much in debt, by the way? Yeah. I heard Gleeman talking about it, maybe on his podcast or maybe KFan, something like that. How do you get $450 million in debt when you get handed a check from the MLB for all the television rights, everything else that goes into it? All 30 teams, they get handed this check before the season even starts. Plus, you get money for the tickets, the payrolls at a minimum. You got advertising deals, et cetera, et cetera. How did the Twins get $450 million in debt, do you think?
It's a very good question, especially considering the complete lack of spending and even salary slashing over the last.
Maybe too much FanDuel, minus 1,200.
It might be FanDuel coming at us. No, it's I don't know if this is going to mean any increase in cash flow for the on-field product. It definitely feels like if my money would be on no at this point. But the fact that they were able to pay down that debt, maybe it means that they can actually borrow against the team again at this point. But all bets are off at this point. So it pinches. It just feels like a terrible pinch right now, and I think everybody just keeps trying to wake up from this bad dream, unfortunately.
Whose stock is pointing up right now? Like, where's the individual win we can try to find, I guess, amongst all this mud right now with a guy who looks like he's going to be a key part of 2026?
Yeah, sure. There's a few guys who have actually made the most of their, impressions the last couple of weeks here. Matt Wallner has been very good since he's come back, especially from his paternity leave. Maybe he's got some of that dad strength in him. I don't know what's going on. Luke Keeschel, obviously, he's the rookie sensation, and it's hard not to think about where this team would be if he was healthy this whole year and had been with them for the last 3+ months. Obviously, you can't blame him. He got hit by a pitch on his forearm and shattered it. So yeah, it'll be fun to watch Wallner, Keeschel. Of course we're going to watch Byron Buxton. He's still the star of this team. He's who they're going to be building around here. But we're looking for some more, opportunities to step up from guys like Royce Lewis and like Brooks Lee. Brooks Lee, the only real hit tonight, besides Keeschel's kind of 13-footer that went for the second hit of the game. So they're really banking on Royce Lewis and Brooks Lee here to be the left side of the infield and to, be anchors in the lineup, guys that, you're not trying to hide in the 7 and 8 spot, but more towards the middle, the meat of the lineup. So they're going to have to step up for sure if there's going to be any confidence in them going forward, I think.
Which trade deadline pickup were you most intrigued by? Plenty of options to choose from. 13 acquisitions, I think, on the menu to choose from. Who's the top guy that kind of gets you geeked up?
So I think the trade that hurt me the most in the moment was Yohan Duran,
Yep.
because I was a huge fan of him. I thought he's been just excellent since debuting with the Twins, and I was sorry to see him go. And I was hoping for a massive trade package to come back the Twins' way. And I felt a little underwhelmed at first, but I think it's starting to grow on me. I think I'm a believer in Mick Abel as a major league contributor, whether that's at the back end of the rotation or as a really good bullpen piece. And Eduardo Tait has been very, very good as a 19-year-old catcher in high A now. He's got just a very polished swing. He's a shorter but lofty guy. He's got some big strength to him. And it's something I'm working on for zone coverage right now is what if this Eduardo Tait is like the end of the Wilson Ramos curse? The Twins back in trade their top catching prospect, a top 100 prospect for a proven closer. Now they traded their proven closer for a top catching prospect. Maybe we can get back to the glory days. I don't know.
There you go.
Eduardo Tait, I think, is the guy who's starting to intrigue me the most, even if maybe I was a little underwhelmed in the moment of the trade.
Where do you think the Twins farm system ranks now, I guess, post-deadline moves? Did it, how many notches maybe did it move up, if at all?
Yeah, I think it depends which scale you're looking at here, but they've definitely got to be one of the crown jewels, I would think. I would put them probably top 3, top 5 somewhere for sure. I think MLB.com had them as 2 right behind the Dodgers, which is always a good sign because the Dodgers somehow keep finding a way to churn out and develop just awesome talent. So I would put them at this point. I think they have probably 5 top 100 prospects or guys that could reasonably be argued to be in that top 100 global prospect ranking. That's going to do you some good. So I would put them at the top of the list. Now it's a matter of how many of these top prospects can they get to graduate into major league contributor and consistent contributor territory.
Odds or maybe a percentage, Kalin Pepper is the Twins starting shortstop at some point in 2026.
Oh, at some point in 2026, that's a good question. I don't want to rush him too much, but he's been looking so good at Double-A, and anything can happen once you show that you can prove it against top talent at Double-A and Triple-A. Anything can happen. We see guys skip Triple-A sometimes if they're really putting on a show at the Double-A level, but I don't anticipate that for him, especially the rest of this season. I mean, what's the point? At this point, just let him keep cooking down there. But next year, say he starts off fast with Double-A, gets promoted to Triple-A, and doesn't stop hitting. And I don't know, maybe Brooks Lee hasn't really found his way here. Brooks looks like a great defensive shortstop, but his bat has been lackluster. If Kalin Pepper can prove that he can hit at the upper levels here, anything can happen. It'd be really fun to see him up here. He'd be a shot in the arm, and he just seems like a really likable dude, somebody who's going to be very easy for Twins fans to embrace.
So game 3 of 4 with Detroit tomorrow. Zebby Matthews on the mound. I did ask Theo this the other night, but now that the deadline massacre, is over, the Twins kind of waving the white flag, essentially. What do you go into these games looking for nowadays? Day to day. Like, is it the young guys getting quality reps? What is it? Because it is hard for fans not to look to 2026 already, despite there being, 6 weeks of baseball left.
Sure. This is a perfect opportunity for guys like Zebby Matthews where, I'm not going to care too much about the ERA. I know his ERA is north of 5, but this is his chance to really build kind of his body of work and show that he can go deeper in games, even if it means giving up an extra run in these matchups in 2025, because if he can build himself up into somebody who can consistently go, 3 times through the order, he could be a true mid or upper level starter at the big league level. So it's these last 6 weeks, it's going to be big for especially guys like Zebby.
Twins drop game 2 versus the Tigers, 7 rip, just 2 hits on the night, 56 and 66 now on the year. That's the Twins record. Huge shout out to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out all of Lou's work, by the way, on X at Sweet Lou MN, plus all the work he's always putting up over at zonecoveragemn.com as well. Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. We're back here tomorrow for game 3. Again, 6:15 first pitch. Zebby on the mound. Catch you right here. Same time, same place. Until then, signing off.